her back. It's feeding on her soul.
What's happening? Is she dying?
Yes.
There is an image from this movie I have not been able to shake from my brain that upset me very deeply. I want to talk it out with you. Breaking that cast.
Creepy.
Yeah, because I want everybody to know exactly how that went down. Can we start at the beginning?
Yeah, of course. I mean, how cool is that? I love doing stunts, and I was so obsessed with the idea of doing it.
But you know how they did that? They put casts on her leg and she bashed them into the bed.
So she was seriously
That's
doing
how
that?
it was done, yeah.
That's more hardcore than I could ever imagine being in my whole life. Why do they make breakaway casts when casts are supposed to keep your legs from breaking?
Well, they didn't exist. So
It's
prop
special?
guys were like, yeah, they were like trying to figure out how to make something that could possibly break, but also look real.
How long did it take for them to wrap you up?
I like over an hour,
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you get one chance to destroy this.
basically. So you
That's
just have at it.
Was everyone in the room horrified?
Everybody was horrified. That day in particular was like the one day where I wasn't really allowed to like talk to everybody and have fun in between takes. So it was a kind of like the darkest day probably. But by the time that scene came with the possession, especially for Dermot, it was probably so hard to hear me say half the things that I did.
Sure, because it gets ugly. It gets really
It gets
personal.
really personal.
And you were kicking a bedpost with a cast, and it
Yes.
was horrifying.
That you gotta talk to him about.
So upsetting.
I don't discuss that.
Right? It's that
It's
upsetting.
really upsetting.
How it ended up in the film is very close to how I imagined it when I was writing it.
You
but
sick bastard.
you know,
What do you really feel, Gray?
I'll be waiting in the dark when the pain finally kills you. No!